Hey, fingerstyle ladies and gents, what's up? This is Patrick back here with another video, and as usual, I'm doing a road doc about one of my gigs. As you know, from time to time, I love to put little documentaries together about my gigs, especially during this era of pandemic where there's very few gigs to be had. Now, this is another documentary that I made, just a mini one, but it's no ordinary gig. And as most documentaries do, this one all begins with a story. A story that goes a long way back, a long, long time back. About 20 years ago. I was living in Columbus, Ohio at the time, and I was just another gigging musician, hopping from open mic to open mic and trying to get my hands on every gig I possibly could. And one night I walked into this bar called the Thirsty Ear, and people were telling me that this place was the best place for music in the Columbus area. So I walk in one night, and somebody told me about these guitarists that were playing there that one night, and somebody wanted me to check it out, so I went, and I met this guy named Brian Hinkey, who is a legendary, extraordinary guitarist in his own right, and he said to me that night, he said, "Hey, I hear you're a guitar player. Would you be interested in playing in this guitar show, this guitar festival that I put together up in Cleveland?" I said, "Cool. What is it?" And he says, "Well, it's called the Woodchopper's Ball. We have 9 to 12 different players, and there's 3 different sets, and you get your own set. You get about 3 to 4 songs." And I said, "Cool." So I went up there and I played, and I got to tell you, it's grown immensely through the years, and it's one of the best gigs for a fingerstyle guitarist, anyone in the world who plays this thing. There's about, on the average year, there's about 300 to 400 people there that come out for this thing, and some real famous players have played at the Woodchopper's Ball. Muriel Anderson, one among them, the late great Pete Huttlinger, who sadly passed away a few years ago, and yes, even Andy McKee has played in this thing. So there's other guys like Todd Hollowell and people like that just mind blowing musicians from all over the country and on all over the globe come to play this show, and I've been asked to be in it many times, and it's a great honor. So I just want to introduce you to the experience I had there this past weekend. This is the first video road documentary I've made about it, interviewing some of the players and interviewing Brian Hinkey himself. And it's such a great experience, just such a cool experience to be among these players, and it's an honor to share the stage with them. And everyone from there's 9 different players in this. Actually, about 12 if you count all of them. There are a couple of duo sets between like husband and wife type of things. So the players in this competition are great players, but not just any great players. They're great players who have won international competitions, have toured all over the country, the world, and everything in between. You got guys like Bill Russell, Jesse Smith, James McKinney, Nicky Portman, Dave Irwin, Helen Avakian, Brian Hinkey, Matt Thomas, Adam Lax, Mark Skenga, and if I left anyone out, I don't think so, but if I left anyone out, I'm sorry, but I think I've pretty mentioned those guys, all of them. So there you have it.
Heaven will just have to wait. Stealing from a collection plate. You did not know the collection was for you.
So this next song I'm going to play has a bit of attentive Greek mythology to it. It may not be as interesting as whatever your song was about, like octocephalopods or whatever it is. I have no idea, but it was a great piece. You just got no idea. Where'd you go home? So I was very fortunate to catch up with Helen Avakian, the winner of the Winfield guitar competition a few years back, one of the greatest and most prestigious fingerstyle competitions in the world, and she also headlined at the festival with her partner Dave Irwin as the Red Door Duo. So it was cool enough to chat with her, so let's go check it out. So I'm sitting here with guitar goddess Helen Avakian.
Hello.
Winner of the Winfield competition and headliner of playing Winfield, which is an extreme awesome accomplishment. So I just want to ask you, Helen, how did you get hooked up with Brian Hinkey, the founder of Woodchopper's Ball?
Winfield, the Walnut Valley Festival
Yeah.
in 2008 we met. He, Dave, and I actually, well, I had met Dave before, but the three of us met one night, and I think it was after the contest. I can't remember. It was late one night. We were all hungry, so Brian said, "Oh, there's this place, Chick on a Stick. It's pretty good." So we went with Brian to Chick on a Stick. And we were talking, and then we went out to his car. He was like leaving, and then he like offered us a CD. We did a CD exchange basically, and yeah, and then we became friends through that. It was really cool. He like back when MySpace was a big thing.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he wrote this incredible like review on MySpace of my CD, I Love the Moon.
Yeah, it's a great album.
Thank you. So I was just like, wow, this is so cool. Thank you. And then, and I loved his music. I had The Tree. He had just put out the album. I forget the exact name, but it was like a tree on the front. It was a tree, and it was so beautiful. And I just, like nothing I'd ever really been around too much. That style and just his whole technique, it was so beautiful, and I loved it. So then he told me about the Woodchopper's Ball, and he asked if I could come out and go, and from New York, which is where I lived at the time.
Yeah.
So that was 2008, and then he kept inviting me back, which is really been
and
fun.
the rest is history.
Yeah. Now what's funny is the year I won, I think he invited me like every year.
Yeah.
And then in 2014, I think he was gonna put me on vacation that year because he likes to keep mixing it up.
Yeah.
So that year, I won the night I won, Brian's like, "Helen, there was only one way you could come back to the Woodchopper's Ball this year, and you just did it." He's like, "Please, will you come play the Woodchopper's Ball in 2014?" So I did, and that was really cool because Muriel Anderson was there that year too,
Muriel Anderson.
and it was amazing. So, and it always is. I mean, just the music, every
yes.
concert program's unique because there's different people and they always bring different things, and everybody keeps even getting better and better every
Yeah.
time. It's just like so cool. I want to clap for.
So I guess my one other question was, what inspired you to go acoustic or the direction of fingerstyle?
Oh, okay. Well, I always preferred, I guess, acoustic guitar. I love rock music too, but I kind of like the artists I would like would also have an acoustic side. Or like I loved Jimi Hendrix. The one film I saw him playing 12 string was like, you know, I just always was captivated. And then I studied classical guitar. In high school, I started studying it, and then I went to college. I got a master's degree in classical guitar performance, believe it or not. But I always was also attracted to people like Ralph Towner, who kind of mix jazz and classical together, and world music, you know. And then, so that's really how. I mean, once I started playing with my fingers, I was more comfortable playing with my fingers. I started with a pick, and then my guitar teacher was wonderful, Judith Kay, really great jazz guitar. She started me with, you know, a pick and basic stuff, and then eventually she had me finger picking and doing some sort of jazz chord arrangements and all kinds of things. But I think once I started, at first finger picking to me was really awkward and it didn't feel that good, but then once I got used to it, it felt much better than holding a pick to actually have the direct contact. So that's how. And then I ended up doing some flamenco dance accompaniment along the way, so that kind of got incorporated into some of it. And I don't know, I just love the various styles. And I'm attracted to the percussive style like you do, but I have never really tried very hard to do it at all, so that would be something fun to try someday.
No, you don't really need it because you've got something great already. So
well, thank you.
What you do is extremely exquisitely done professionally well, and it's always really every note is really pristine, really clean.
Oh, thank you. Well, I try.
Well, thank you so much, Helen.
Yeah, thank you.
For sharing your thoughts on this wonderful event.
Yeah, all right.
So I was finally also able to catch up with the guy that was playing right next to me, Matt Thomas, and the founder of the show, and a good friend of mine, Brian Hinkey. I caught them kind of both chatting in the same room and interrupted their conversation and asked to interview them. So here's the interview. Hope you enjoy. So I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, Brian Hinkey, the founder of the founder of this incredible event, Woodchopper's Ball. And sitting to his left is Matt Thompson, an incredible guitarist, and that was playing right next to me tonight, and it was an honor to play next to him. Likewise. So Brian, you first. How did you, if you can remember, like your very first show at your very first Woodchopper's Ball event? Like, how did you come up with the idea?
Well, the idea stems from the song, the Woody Herman song. The big band did it. It's a swing tune, and then later was done by 10 years after with Alvin Lee. And we call our guitars axes. That's something we've done, and we call it woodshedding when we practice. We go and woodshed. And the Woodchopper's Ball just seemed like a great title for bringing a bunch of great guitar players together to do a guitar-centric show. The very, very first one was actually in the 90s, and it was all electric guitar players, and everybody played just one song each. And I did 3 of those, and I was like, oh, I don't like this anymore, and I didn't do them for years. And I started doing the solo fingerstyle stuff and meeting these amazing players who were so much better than the electric guitar players that I was working with, and super, super nice people. And I just thought, I'll do it again. And first one was at the Beachland in 2000. Michael Kelsey was there, so was Pete Huttliger. They were there at the very beginning, and Michael couldn't make it this year. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I hope he's doing all right. That's how it got started. I did one there. I did some at Tri-C West, Cuyahoga Community College West, I think 2 or 3. And then I moved here to the Kent Stage, and of course the Kent Stage is just awesome. Yeah. Because they help advertise it. It's a great venue. And we had to skip last year because of the pandemic. Everything got canceled. So it's been 21 years since it officially started as an acoustic guitar thing, but this is the 20th anniversary that we're actually able to do it. I chose not to go virtual because it just, part of the magic is us being live together.
Oh, for sure.
And the energy that we share on stage would not have, you can't do that virtually.
Yeah, for sure. So I've always been curious. Got one more question. Like how much time in the space of a year do you dedicate to finding players and making phone calls and getting the whole shebang together? Like, or is it something that since you've been doing it for so long, you can do it in a short amount of time, or is it just years?
The actual time spent on the phone or the internet getting the players is pretty fast. The hardest part for me is who not to bring in, because I know so many incredible guitar players, and I want to bring everybody in. And if that case, you got to have 60 guitar players here, and I can't do that.
Yeah.
So I have to mix it up every year. I don't want to bore the audience with the same players, although they get bored with me. I do it every year, but that's my perk for putting it on.
Yes.
It's really pretty easy from the standpoint of choosing the players. The details is where it gets all the online marketing, putting out posters, remembering who needs what, because there's 9 different acts up on there on stage. We got 2 duos this time, keeping in mind where everybody's coming from and all of that. I want to do a good job. I want to have everybody that plays here be treated the way I would like to be treated.
Yes.
So I hope everybody's happy with it.
Well, you definitely have succeeded in that. And so over to Matt Thompson now. So Matt, how did you get hooked up with Woodchopper's Ball? Like, what was the deal? How did you meet Brian?
Winfield.
Oh, that seems to be the number one answer everybody is getting.
Well, he a lot of times hunts for people that have won at Winfield, and as a result, a lot of us kind of know each other. We're kind of a pack. We're a community, and unfortunately at Winfield, the fingerstyle community gets kind of overshadowed by the rest of the crazy bluegrassness.
Yeah.
It's nice if we were to be able to plug in, but there's no amplification allowed at the majority of Winfield.
Mm-hmm.
So it is more of like, you know what? Let's get together and can I play this song for you? Because that crowd's too much over there. So and I don't have a flat pick or a resonator to keep up. So it ends up being a much more intimate relationship that you've built with these people. So I encourage everybody, go to festivals, go to competitions, go to things. Even if you're not competing, it's the community and the people that you help thrive together on. Because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for me going to Winfield.
So is this your first time at Woodchoppers, or
No, this is my 3rd time.
Okay.
now.
Okay. Cool. So, it's like I think we can all agree it's one of the greatest things in the Midwest for guitar players, and especially this particular genre of guitar playing, this fingerstyle.
Yeah, I would like to see it done in other cities, but I couldn't do it in other cities. I'm a musician too. I've got I'm writing songs and recording and doing all that stuff. Yeah. And I don't know how easy it would be for somebody else to do. I'm in a really unique position because I know everybody.
Yeah.
I know who not to bring in if they're butt heads. Y'all know about the no butt head rule.
Yeah. We won't mention any names.
But and I know so many great players. It's not hard to find great players.
Oh yeah.
That's never been an issue. And then I have to think about the chemistry of who's going to work well on stage together.
Yeah, because I had no idea
Yeah.
how awesome the 3 of our energies were going to be together on stage.
I did.
And that's
Yeah.
when
That's why I know it's kind. I just knew. It's not like.
that's why you are the man that organizes this.
Yeah.
And we're the people that come and
that's
play.
why he has a really great ear for that kind of thing.
Yeah. The orchestration,
yeah.
the whole thing.
I look at it as a whole thing, and individual players, are all part of that entire thing, as we all are in the musical world. Mm-hmm. We all hold our own niche, great players, we're really kind of a dime a dozen. But
especially with the internet these days, and how easy it is to learn.
is getting players that have the right chemistry that are going to put on a magical show isn't that easy. I think I'm going to have to get downstairs pretty soon. I think they're in their last song,
Well,
and I chose to be the MC this time. So
Yeah, well, you were a great one. I could feel this, different influence and the spirit of Charlie Brown coming right through you. So thanks so much, man. It's always great. This is a great thing. So thank you.
thank you, Patrick.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
All right, there we go. So this is my good friend Ramen, and she's a super supportive of this style of music and these kind of events. So I'm very thankful to have her here tonight with me and being a huge supporter. So thank you, Ramen.
You're welcome, Patrick. He did a great job tonight. One of the best guitarists on earth.
Oh, thank you very much. That's
And
very sweet of you.
the melodies that you write always blow me away.
Oh, thank you
You
very
have
much.
such a sense of melody along with rhythm. It's like
Well,
the
that's-
perfect combination,
Well,
you
yeah,
guys.
that's kind of my goal when I write music. So I'm glad somebody out there really gets it. So
Lots of us out there.
signing off now. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Yep.
It was great.
Well, the gig went off amazingly, mind-blowing as usual. And at the end of this thing, you just feel like you're walking on air. So many great players, so much great music, so much inspiration. We're all there to lift each other's spirits up and compliment each other. It's the greatest high you're ever going to have as a musician. Forget about drugs. This is where it's at right here. So if you can get to any event like this, please do support these types of events. And my hat goes off again to Brian Henke for putting this thing together, because he puts a lot of work into this. Anyone who does this should know it's a ton of work to get these things, to promote these things, to get people to come out, especially during a time where people are a little apprehensive about going to live events. So this thing is where it's at. If you can get to an event like this, please do. Hopefully I'll see everybody there next year. If not, I'll see you somewhere down the road. Thank you very much. Have a great night, everyone.